The internet has made it easier than ever to become an artist. Any Tom, Dick and Harry can upload a drawing to Instagram, TikTok or Twitter under a hypothetical username and possibly end up getting thousands of likes, an absurd amount of comments, all the while stealing someone else's drawings, pretending to be another person or just using fake generated AI images. But with all that supposed parasocial attention, some of all these accounts pretending to be self-proclaimed artists aren't really true artists at all. They are fake. And how they mislead people isn't always obvious unless you pay attention to certain cues. First, they steal art, literally posting someone else's drawing and pretending it's theirs for no reason, I guess. Second, they trace art from another artist, but instead of keeping that shit in the computer and claim they were just making studies of the artist's work, they post it online without even tagging the original artist or even trying to explain the situation. Third, and most common of all, they use AI to generate an image and then post it on social media trying to pass off their account as an actual artist. And the worst part is they do this pretty successfully on Instagram and Twitter, with their accounts growing to reach thousands, which is such a smack across the face for actual artists struggling to grow their online presence. Fourth, they pretend to be fake beginner artists by posting really bad art, and then all of a sudden their art miraculously improves out of nowhere, gaining them thousands of followers because people just naturally believed all that drawing progress was actually real. Now when these fake accounts get caught or called out, some of them somehow manage to avoid getting cancelled, even after multiple call-out posts from different people on the internet. These fake artists have slowly but successfully overrun the art community on social media and are painstakingly misleading people who are not instinctively blessed with the nose to smell their pretentious art from a mile away. Take this image for instance. One would assume it was made by an actual artist, right? Wrong, 10 points for Slytherin. Or this pretty looking image in the style of Sam Does Art. Also wrong, another fake artist yet again. There have been numerous instances like this where fake artists or accounts pretending to be artists have been called out for trying to pass off their generated art or stolen art as they struggle to build an audience and then start accepting commissions, in the end causing artists who legitimately make their own art by themselves end up getting accused of using AI even when it's clear they made the drawings themselves and have time-lapse videos of their process to back it up. Fake artists now even have the nerve to defend everything they make by saying things like, AI will replace many people, that's realistic. You can dislike it or learn to use it to stay relevant. Artists are not real workers, they are lazy and are massive losers. Get a life. AI is the future and will be even bigger soon. When are these people ever going to learn? Assuming AI is going to replace actual artists is such a ridiculous thought, because who else are they going to use to train the AI models when there are no more artists? Popular artist Keibleh on Twitter made a post calling out a fake account pretending to be them on TikTok, posting videos and sharing art they had stolen from Kib, which were already posted on their own main page on Twitter. The fake account was apparently trying to sneak their way into the mouthwashing fandom by sharing the fan art Kib had made of some mouthwashing characters, and was casually accepting all the praise and comments from people who enjoyed the art and were really intrigued by it. The fake account even removed Kib's watermark from their drawing just so people would believe their ploy of pretending to be the true owner of the drawing. Kib wrote a comment on the post politely asking the person to take down the drawing since it wasn't theirs to begin with, and another user also commented how their post on TikTok had no watermark, which was quite suspicious, right, since the original drawing on Twitter clearly had a large watermark written on it. The fake account responded saying it was their choice to remove it, which is just kinda stupid. Why would an artist go through the stress of removing a watermark when trying to repost their art on another platform, when we're all aware of how easy it is for someone to just take your drawing and claim it as theirs, especially when there's not a single watermark on it? So them saying they took it out by choice is basically shooting themselves in the foot if you ask me. Apparently it will seem the account went into damage control mode and deleted the comment of the original artist, and then started deleting comments from people who were calling them out for stealing the drawing. They immediately turned off comments and held them for review. So basically, you couldn't even tag them or call them out anymore, which left only one option: reporting the account. Another artist also mentioned how something similar happened to them just a short while ago. The same thing happened to me a month ago. The art thief ended up with 10k followers from my art and even monetizing them. File a copyright claim to TikTok directly with a screenshot of the work, their account, and then your account to prove it's yours. They will usually take up to 1 to 2 weeks to respond, and during the meantime, try to post on TikTok itself to raise awareness within the platform. It's so sad how a large platform like TikTok doesn't have features that could potentially protect artists from situations like this, and even after filing a complaint, you still have to wait 14 days or more to even get a response from them. Keeb was able to raise a lot of awareness about the situation with his tweets because the account soon went private and changed their avatar so people couldn't find them or tag them anymore. So I'm guessing that would have taught them a lesson or two, and the best we can hope for is they're not somewhere else on the internet stealing art anymore. Artist Val Burn, whose art style I particularly enjoy, also made a series of tweets stating how an account named DeRosa was stealing their art and feeding it into AI and making money off of it. I've been trying to ignore this for a while, but one of the reasons why I lost my motivation to draw last year is because I found an AI of my art style. I was hesitant to speak about it, but DeRosa has been now profiting from it using Patreon, and that's where I draw the line. I didn't want to do this because speaking up on social media is scary, but I encourage every artist who is going through this to do it too. It's really unfair to just put up with it and accept it. They can be found as Bozo Danzel on Instagram and Patreon too. I'm not encouraging any hate or threats to this person, I just want to defend my work. If anyone wants to help, reporting the AI account would help. Thank you to anyone who read all of this. Apparently, the person in question had already been posting art in the style of Val Burn for some time on their Patreon and was actively posting on Instagram, where they had grown their account to almost 13,000 followers and were even asking for commissions. They even had a price list and everything to make it seem like they were actual artists, and almost caught an unlucky person who was about to commission them without realizing they were actually, well, not making any art at all. This guy made a model from my stuff too. He ended up removing my credits from the model and is telling people in the comments how I'm missing out because I didn't want him profiting off of my stuff. What a leech. Now if you search for their account on Instagram or try going to their Patreon, you will be met with this landing page because it has thankfully been taken off the internet. Their Twitter account with the same name is still up but has been inactive for the longest time ever. They deleted all their posts, took down all the fake art they were posting, and at this point I think it's safe to assume they're completely inactive on the internet. I hope. Speaking about being inactive on the internet, I posted this drawing on my community tab and a lot of you seem to like it and were asking where I post majority of the drawings I make aside from the community tab. So I decided to make a brand new Instagram account just for you guys. This is my new account on Instagram. Make sure you all go follow me on there and like all the images if you want me to keep on making art and posting. No, I'm serious. If you guys don't run this account up to 10k followers overnight, I'm quitting. That's it. 10k followers overnight, and I don't know, I'll post an art tutorial or something. 10k followers overnight, I'm not playing. Okay, all jokes aside, the account is Tubby on Instagram and it's also Tubby on Twitter as well, so make sure you go follow me on both of them. Now that we're done with all that unassuming self-promotion, let's talk about art books and art tutorials. It will seem art books and art tutorials have also not been spared from the clutching arms of fake art. This so-called art book filled with quote-unquote art tips for young artists trying to learn how to draw caricatures was published a while ago and was making its round on social media, but it will seem this art book was filled entirely with almost nothing but AI-generated images. The drawings in the book all seemed to look convincing but still somehow reeked of AI, and I tried to look for the entire series of books anywhere online so I could download it and take a look at it for myself, maybe even learn a thing or two if you will, but unfortunately I couldn't find a single link to download it. But our big brother and everyone's favorite OG art YouTuber Draw with Jazza made an entire video going through the art books, so we don't have to.
So I got scammed, and I wanted to sort of share the experience, obviously to like inform and warn some of you to be wary of some of this stuff. A couple of weeks back, and I got served this ad for a book on like drawing, and I bought it. I went to the website. I'm like, first of all, the ad struck me as really, like, it just caught my attention. I went to the website, I upsold myself and bought the bundle of 4 because I thought, hey, that book looks good. They sell it for 4 of them for 20% off, and I'm looking for, like, I want more references for this, how to draw, like, process. So I just got the bundle of 4, spent $95 US, which isn't nothing. It's a good amount of money. And I left the link because I downloaded it a week or so later. I'm going to start off by showing you the ad that I was served. It's by this group, Comic Pencil. This is the ad. This was my screen recording. And I'm scrolling through Facebook. This immediately shows up, and I'm just like, immediately I'm attracted to the illustration.
Wait, I think I remember seeing these ads a while back. They were pretty popular and were always showing up in between posts on Instagram. I thought it was an actual artist because I occasionally get ads from Angel Ganev, so I just assumed it was probably the same thing as well.
It's like I'm immediately, for me personally, I like these sort of really exaggerated styles. It seems just on a surface level, you sort of think, okay, yeah, there seems to be guidance and instructions and some clarity in terms of like creating distinctions. So like just on a surface level, and then it's like you get that impression, and then the next impression is look at all the material, right? First of all, it arrives like this. You get 4 PDFs, and I'm just going to open the first one I opened, which was Guidebook 4. Here it is, Female Illustration Comic Guidebook Series.
Now, I'm not going to lie, this actually looks pretty convincing. And if you weren't told this was AI, you probably wouldn't ever know.
Okay, so we got some females here. There is page 1, female.
Okay, now this one, I have to say, it looks a lot like an AI image. Because, well, obviously the face isn't as rendered as much as the hair and the clothes. And I mean, just look at all the details in the hair and then compare that with the face. Something ain't right.
And then we just have a bunch of eyes. Eye, front, female. I'm like, this is the first time I'm flicking through this. I'm like, oh, okay. Eye, front, eye, side. And then by this stage, I'm like 4 pages in. And then I'm like,
okay, cool, but where are the steps to draw the eyes? These are all finished drawings. How am I supposed to get here if I don't know how to start drawing an eye in the first place?
Uh-oh. I think I know what's happened here. Then I go back and I realize, okay, well, there's no name. There's no person attached to this. So then before looking further, the next thing I do is go to the website. This is the website. This is where they sell it. This is the homepage. And the first thing I do in going here is like, I need a name. I need to see who put this together. So homepage, what have we got? Okay, it's advertising its series. Through anatomy, learn to draw, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. Step by step, will take you, we produce, blah, blah, blah. About Comic Pencil. So this is the stuff I'm looking for. We produce content and books about portrait, blah, 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 blah. All products are created by artists who have studied portrait painting for many years. Who? Who has started? Where is the name?
The fact that they avoided leaving any names is so funny. I mean, if they said artists have been drawing portraits for many years, why are they so scared of being mentioned as authors and being properly credited? Let me guess. Maybe because they don't really exist.
And surprise, surprise, it's nowhere to be seen. And aside from being able to purchase the products and presenting the best of their material to sort of make it as sellable as possible, there's actually no information, and there's barely any information on what's in the contents of the books, because like this female illustration one, all they do is like, you know, really surface level reference, but they don't give you enough time to actually soak in, because when you look closer, when you go through here, you start to notice the artifacts.
Which is really silly, because if someone were to actually purchase this book just from seeing all these ads, you really aren't going to end up learning anything, because these are just a collection of AI art without any actual information on how to draw anything, or any steps about simplifying anatomy or any of that.
But these ones, these comic guidebooks, are purported to be more tutorialized.
Oh, this one is the book that was created like an actual tutorial, while the others were more or less for inspiration, I guess.
So if I go to the start of this, we have the same sort of thing where there's no credit and there's no table of contents or anything really thoughtful. And as soon as you're looking at it with a view of like, okay, well, this must be AI, you realize, okay, well, this could have been copied and pasted from somewhere, given to ChatGPT and said, reword this in different words or whatever.
Also, this is just so stupid. Whoever made this is so corny, because anyone who has read Andrew Loomis's books can immediately tell these are all straight up copies from his book drawing the human figure and head and hands.
Half the time the text barely correlates with what's being shown, and there's no clear demonstration of like what is this? Like, combine the ball with other basic forms like that. Okay, how? What are we? I don't understand, right?
They're literally almost the same thing, even down to the exact art style. These are literally the exact same thing, all copies from Andrew Loomis's book. It's so bad.
This is, in this one, we see the final outcome, and then we see the step-by-step on the right. In later examples, we have the final outcome, and we're going backwards, step by step, to like nothing. Like, it just makes no sense as a guide.
That's because whoever compiled the book together doesn't understand how these proportions work in real life, and was just adding things up just to make the book look more complicated than it actually is.
But the skill that is represented through this AI generated image, which is frankly what I would bet good money it is still a very different level of skill to this, which I believe is hand drawn and traced on top of that, just sort of poorly, because you can see the line control and the quality of the drawing in these is far worse than that.
I think instead of actually doing any drawings themselves, they possibly just fed Andrew Loomis's work into the AI just so it could create his art as a step-by-step for their book. Or maybe they did draw it. Who knows?
And just to confirm my suspicions, not that it's a confirmation, but just to show that this can be done quite easily, I just went into Midjourney just to sort of reverse engineer it. So we've got, I just gave it the prompt, how to draw a book in a head profile, blah, 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 in the style of J. Scott Campbell, just with sketches and basic lines. And just like that, bam, that comes up in like a second. Easily, any of these could have been in that book. And all you have to do is add a few scribbly sketch lines underneath. Same sort of thing here with a male, with that sketchy aesthetic. Very easily, there it is.
Wow. Just wow. This is so scary how anyone could just do the same thing and create an art book based off of any artist's art style and start rapidly promoting it. And unfortunately, people are going to somehow end up buying it because the art just looks good. It's such a terrible situation, and it's a shame they even did this and convinced people to buy their book. And even if you try to go out of your way to find their page on Facebook and Instagram, everything's gone and has been taken off the internet. I can't find their page or anything that links back to them. But I stumbled on another account which also seemed a little suspicious on Facebook. The first page that popped up when I tried to search for Comics Pencil was an ad for a page called Tartan Drawing, which also happened to be selling an ebook. I went through the page and it was quite interesting because some of the drawings looked like AI just because of how perfect and overly accurate they all seemed to be, and some of the others were a little loose and sketchy. I also scrolled down the page and checked their Instagram account and saw they actually had videos of them drawing, so I guess it's safe to say our assumptions were cleared. Maybe I'm just reaching here, maybe it's an actual artist, right? This whole fake artist situation is just going to keep on getting worse the more these AI tools get better. For the most part, the average person who isn't really an artist and just wants to look at cool art or pretty drawings on their feed really doesn't care. They don't care if it's traced, stolen art, or AI generated images. The worst part is social media platforms like Instagram and Twitter don't really promote call out posts unless they're super viral or involve an artist with a rather large size account in terms of their follower count. So when this type of thing happens to smaller artists and they try to speak up, they sadly get ignored and sometimes cyberbullied into silence. And in the event a fake artist does get exposed and ultimately cancelled, they just delete old posts, change their username, wait for the drama to die down, or just rebrand with a new art style and start the entire cycle again. I think a good way for artists to change this situation in the art community is to try helping non-artists and younger inexperienced artists understand how to spot fakes using any of the cues mentioned in this video, and also support other artists whenever they speak up against art theft or people posting art under false pretense, regardless of the size of their account. It won't stop art theft, but at least it will make it harder to fake being an artist. Well, it looks like you made it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, share this video with a friend, and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. With all that being said, I'll see all you pretty penguins in the next video. Bye.